The first time I saw her, the alien woman, she wasn't standing under the glow of her world's twin suns, nor was she surrounded by her people's glittering technologies. She was sitting in a chamber of shadows, her slender frame trembling as though the walls themselves threatened to collapse in on her. I had come to her planet not by design, but by accident. My ship, the Argo, had suffered catastrophic damage while navigating through an uncharted sector of the Orion expanse. A rogue gravitational eddy dragged me down into the orbit of a world the star maps had long ignored. Its surface shimmered with green-blue forests and oceans of liquid silver. The scanners showed life, intelligent life. But more than that, there was a faint but undeniable signal buried beneath layers of static. It was a distress beacon. I thought perhaps another ship had gone down here before me. I didn't expect to find her. When the pod doors hissed open and I stepped into the ruins of what looked like a once magnificent citadel, she stood across from me. Her skin shimmered faintly, an iridescent blue-green hue that caught the light like living crystal. Her eyes, vast and pale with streaks of silver, locked on mine. For a moment we both froze, neither of us daring to move. And then she cried. The sound was like wind through glass, fragile yet piercing. Her tears were not clear, but faintly luminescent, streaking down her face like molten starlight. She whispered something in her language, words I couldn't understand but felt all the same. Recognition. I had expected fear, anger, or curiosity. But sorrow. Sorrow so deep it echoed in the very air between us. That startled me. I wanted to ask why she wept at the sight of me. But before I could, the ground beneath us shook, and the ruins groaned with the weight of centuries. She reached for me, not in hostility, but in urgency. Her slender hand grasped mine, and for reasons I couldn't explain, I followed without question. We fled deeper into the ruins, down corridors carved with symbols I couldn't decipher. The walls glowed faintly, alive with ancient power, as if the building itself remembered the glory it had once held. She led me to a chamber filled with softly humming crystals, each one pulsating like a heartbeat. When she finally released my hand, she turned to face me. Her voice rose and fell in melodic tones, words I couldn't translate but could almost feel. Still, my translator implant worked tirelessly, catching fragments and weaving them into crude approximations. You live, like him, the same face. I frowned. Who are you talking about? Who do I look like? She pressed her palm against a crystal and an image bloomed into the air. It was a man, human, unmistakably human. He had the same dark hair, the same angular jawline, the same eyes as mine. Not identical, but close enough to feel like staring at a distorted reflection. He came, she whispered, her voice translated haltingly. He promised, he stayed, he left. I felt my chest tighten. When? How long ago? She touched another crystal. The chamber filled with visions. A great fleet descending from the skies, towering ships blotting out the sun. Her people, shimmering beings like her, stood at the edges of their cities, welcoming the visitors. And among those visitors were humans. Not explorers. Not diplomats. Conquerors. The man who looked like me had been their leader. He came not to ally, but to subjugate. He wore kindness like a mask, earning their trust before shattering it with betrayal. And when the war was over, when her people had been broken, he vanished, leaving only ruins and grief behind. The alien woman's tears fell harder as she stared at me. His face, your face, the same. You bring a memory. Pain. I staggered back, horrified. I had no idea humans had ever reached this world. Our official records made no mention of it. Was it possible? Had an earlier expedition come here centuries ago and erased the truth? I shook my head. I'm not him. Whoever he was, whatever he did, I'm not him. But I could see the doubt in her eyes. To her, I was the ghost of her people's destroyer, resurrected to haunt her again. For days she kept her distance. Yet she didn't drive me away. She gave me food. Strange fruits that glowed faintly in the dark, water that shimmered with silver light. I tried to repair my ship with what little salvage I could find, but it was hopeless. The atmosphere here interfered with long-range communication, and my distress beacon barely carried beyond the mountains. So I stayed. Bit by bit we began to speak. My translator adapted to her language, and I learned her name, Sarai. She told me of her people, once guardians of knowledge who built wonders that bent light and reshaped matter. They had lived in harmony until the humans came. Under the command of the man who bore my likeness, they were enslaved, their technology plundered, their culture dismantled. Sarai was one of the last. She had survived because she had hidden deep within the citadel as her people fell. She had waited here, tending the crystals, repositories of memory and history, so that her world would not be forgotten. And when she saw me, the living echo of her tormentor, all her centuries of grief came pouring out. Yet something changed between us. The more time we spent together, the more she saw that I wasn't him. I listened when she spoke. I grieved with her when she showed me visions of her fallen kin. And though she wept often, her tears became softer, tinged not only with sorrow but with fragile hope. One night, as the silver moon rose high, she asked me a question that made my heart ache. Do your people still conquer? Still take? I hesitated. Some do. But not all of us. Not me. She looked at me with searching eyes, as though trying to peel back the layers of my soul. And in that silence, I realized something. I didn't just want to prove I was different from the man who had wronged her. I wanted to heal the wound he left behind. But healing is never simple. One morning the ground shook again, not from earthquakes but from engines. From the horizon, a fleet of ships descended. Human ships. My distress beacon had worked after all. I rushed to the ruin's edge as the vessels landed. Soldiers poured out, scanning the area. Their insignias were not of exploration, but extraction. Corporate salvage crews. They weren't here to rescue me. They were here to plunder whatever remained of Sarai's world. Sarai's face hardened with terror and fury. She turned to me, her voice breaking. It begins again. Always begins again. I grabbed her hand. No, not this time. Ending. What followed was chaos. The soldiers stormed the ruins, their scanners lighting up at the readings from the crystal chambers. They didn't see Sarai as a person. They saw her as an asset. Specimen. A remnant to be captured and studied. I stood in their way. Stand down, their commander barked. You're coming with us. And whatever that thing is, it's property now. She's not property, I snapped. She's a person. This is her world. The soldiers raised their weapons. My heart pounded. I wasn't a warrior. But I couldn't let them take her. Not again.